time to take a look at the front pages of some select national dailies this morning to give you a sense of the stories making the rounds as usual. Now we start off with a look at the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper for today. From the top, Atiku tackles Tinubu over Lagos Calabar Highway project. I think he's accusing the president of giving that contract to a friend or someone who he has ties with, suggesting that there is some sort of relationship there that is being leveraged to award that contract. CBN sacks another 40 staff. They talk about right sizing, and I hope this is all in the interest of efficiency and prudence. Israel pulls troops out of southern Gaza as calls for ceasefire continues to echo. Yeah, I think they're keeping a battalion according to a report there. So the siege is still pretty much in effect. Nigerians in UAE stranded over work permit, visa ban, lose over 200 jobs, face discrimination. They should return home to build Nigeria. Discussion ongoing to resolve issues according to the minister's aide, and I suppose that's the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Apparently, we've not regularized and addressed all the issues with the UAE, a situation that has been ongoing for the past 2 years and counting since the Buhari administration, and that issue is still pretty much in the pipelines. More on that on page 4, and this is a picture of a young man who is selling vegetables in front of a destroyed building in Gaza. And the level of destruction, my goodness, is just unfathomable. Palliatives, 9 die in stampede in Wamako's house. Just talking about it a few seconds ago about how poor people continue to suffer in light of everything that is happening. Even when help comes at a cost. We've seen that in Nasarawa with the students. We've seen that in Bauchi. Now we've seen that in Lagos with the customs auctioning. We've seen that now in Sokoto State. Military neutralizes terrorists who killed soldiers in Borno. Media bodies, CSOs demand investigation into editor's detention. Sultan asks Muslims to look out for Shawwal moon today. That's it on the Daily Trust.
I'm sure Abdul would do that. All right, let's move on to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. At the top of the page there, it says electricity, the metering will enhance investment growth in the power sector. That's according to the Hiro boss. The Nipan, NJE, NUJ, Bond, CSOs, others seek probe of journalist detention. Tariff hike, how we're solving Nigeria's power problem by Adelabu, that's the Minister of Power. Major stories saying Petrol, oil marketers propose 550 naira per litre price to Dangote. Okay, that
to who?
To Dangote. I have to stop.
Just asking.
And the talks ongoing over price margins. Others marketers are saying let's enjoy benefits of domestic refining, according to experts. Consumers sector-wide impact expected. I mean, if you want details of all of that, the refinery owners also taxed the federal government on $1 billion fraud, $1 billion fraud. Besides that, we have the mistakes Nigeria made. That's General Ike Nwachukwu saying. Yusuf Tuganduje, you speak of failures after 8 years of misrule. The drama keeps unfolding in Kano State. Terrorists kill army lieutenant and wound about 4 soldiers. Edo Cuba Communities Commander Baseki taxed him on more roads to his campaign. He's about to, leave the office. I don't know why they're even asking him for more. Anyway, these are some of the stories that you would find on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And then right now,
I think until next year.
Indeed.
So there's still some time to do something.
All right, we have our reviewer here with us, Suleiman Ubagaya, former Deputy President, Nigerian Guild editor, joining us to dissect the front pages. Good morning, and thank you.
Good morning, and thank you so much for coming.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
I think we've missed you last week.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was on a working visit to Sokoto.
All right, welcome back. Yeah, before we talk about, I think you need to, clear the air, because I might be wrong on, your position regarding this whole electricity tariff. There are two sides. There's the right side, which is the Nigerian people's side, and then there's the other side. So I want to, just get a sense of, where you stand on this whole tariff or no tariff thing.
Well, for me, I have a very clear position that in as much as electricity will be made available to Nigerians across the divide, the rich, the haves and the have-nots, I believe whatever the tariff might be, Nigerians should strive to afford it. I mean, look at it this way. How much do you spend fueling your own generator?
Assuming I have a generator, that is.
No, a lot of Nigerians do have generators. And even if they don't have at home, they have at their places of business. And how much do you need to power it? You need fuel that is very expensive. On the average, I know a woman who owns a tailoring shop telling me that on the average she spends between 10,000, 20,000 per day purchasing fuel, because the area where her business is located doesn't have regular electricity supply. So for me, if you tax that woman 300 per kilowatt of electricity or thereabouts, I think she will be happy, because at the end of the day, I saw one the calculation done by someone that the total bill will aggregate around 1.9 million per year. That is for the band A. So for me, if electricity would be supplied for 20 hours, 24 hours, and the charge is 300 or thereabouts, definitely is not, maybe the timing, as Senator Ali Ndume said, is wrong, because Nigerians are already grappling with very harsh realities of everyday life. But then, it's also a reality we just have to somehow...
There's also the whole question, Sumaya, about how much of that power we can actually make available to every Nigerian. I mean, 4,000, is it enough to power the entire country for 20 hours?
Definitely not.
So there's that question also, that we've not sorted out the structural issues of generation and transmission that can guarantee 20 hours a day. But we're jumping the gun to just go ahead and charge.
Honestly, that's another issue. You're very right. You're very right. It's a genuine fear, because how do they give us power for 24 hours when issues of transmission have not been addressed? Generation, so. And they are using dilapidated infrastructure in the entire power sector. So these are issues that must be addressed first before you can even think of supplying electricity.
Because the government are saying the money is going to be pushed towards, the subsidy that get collected, or they are paying rather, not on other infrastructures.
Anyway, let's talk about the big story on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Nigerians in the UAE apparently are stranded because they cannot renew their work permit as well as their visas. This diplomatic standoff apparently is still on, despite President Tinubu's visit. What do you make of this impasse? Because we're not making any headway.
Well, you see, generally, foreign relations is built upon issues like reciprocity and the fact that no country is self-sufficient. We are interdependent on one another. But even at that, countries also look at their national interest. And in the case of the UAE, they have introduced for many years a highly liberalized visa policy for Nigerians. All you need to do to go to the UAE is to simply purchase an air ticket, apply for a visa. Even your hotel can apply for a visa for you, while you are within the comfort of your office or home in Nigeria. Unfortunately, some Nigerians abuse that privilege, engaging in all sorts of high crime, armed robbery, cultism, things that they do here and they escape. They think they can do it there. There was this case of I wouldn't want to call the tribe because I don't like stereotyping. But Nigerians, a group of Nigerians going into a money exchange shop, robbing them of huge sums of money, I think millions of dirham. And they thought they were going to escape. And in just a few minutes, they were arrested, because that is a country that is hugely networked in terms of their CCTV. The only area you have privacy is when you are within your own residence. You know, but once you step out of your residence, at times when you are even when you are even in the balcony of your residence, the CCTV cameras tend to capture you. So how do you think of committing crime and thinking you can go scot-free the way we do in Nigeria? So these are some of the realities that the UAE has taken a look at. The only thing is, you know, as they say, it is no good to overstretch an argument. So for me, the UAE has made its point, and it's time, honestly, for it to, you know, listen to voice of reason. Our president, the incumbent one, has visited them, I think, twice. President Buhari, also the former president, immediate past president, has also not just visited the UAE, but also placed a call to the leader of that country, appealing to him to please leave the van before the end of his administration. Unfortunately, that was not adhered to. So it's a very, very, very terrible reality, and it's so sad that about 200 Nigerians have lost their jobs. I hear some experts are asking them to return home to build Nigeria. But that is not fair. That is very unfair, because you are asking them to return to unemployment. And there in the UAE, I don't know, they don't have a policy of minimum wage, but they have a policy of livable wage. And their livable wage, the minimum is $4,300 per month. What does that amount to? We are talking about millions, maybe 5 million, 6 million, even for a domestic worker, that you pay 30,000, 50,000, at times 100,000 naira here in Nigeria. If she or he goes to Dubai, or UAE rather, he is bound to earn at least 4 million, 5 million, 6 million naira. You know, an amount that only people working in NNPC and CBN probably earn in Nigeria, and that even in those organizations.
I think returning home is not necessarily the solution, especially if you know, we need some of those inflows of hard currency coming back into the country. I think they're doing well to sustain their families and their loved ones, and that is what anyway, let's hope that this whole situation would get sorted out in the near future, before long, because Nigerians love to go to Dubai, by the way. Not just for
I think
for
Dubai
work,
is
but
majorly
also,
where Nigerians go.
but also for leisure and all of
Indeed.
that. The unfortunate development, you're just in Sokoto State, 9 people are reportedly dead from a stampede at the former governor's house, trying to get access to food items that the senator is trying to provide for his constituents. I mean, yet another reminder of how bad the situation really is. It started in Lagos this year with the Nigeria Customs selling seized food items at a subsidized rate. We understand that 6 or so reportedly died, or 10 or thereabout. Then it was Nasarawa State, the government, trying to provide palliatives to students, Bauchi, and now Sokoto. And people keep saying, why does Zulum do this week in, week out, and nobody dies? Unfortunately, you know, these other... What do you make of this this whole development? I mean, crowd management when we're sharing food, you know, apparently it's not something that is simple as ABC.
Well, you see, if there is a second name that you can ascribe to Senator Wamako, you know, you can call him Mr. Generosity. He has been doing this year after year. And unfortunately, this time around, the rate of poverty has skyrocketed to unprecedented levels, to a level where I just stepped out of my hotel, which is right behind Senator Wamako's house, and I saw a long queue of people, and I inquired, only to be told that they were there to receive palliatives from the senator, and that queue stretched up to probably 2-3 kilometers. And of course, I wasn't too surprised when I learned that there was a stampede and some people died. Generally, I feel that it is a very sad story that Nigeria, or Nigerians, have been reduced to this kind of thing. And the government needs to do a lot more to avoid a situation where Nigerians will be turned to beggars, practically speaking. And this is what it has become. And honestly, I feel very sad that we have continued to lose our innocent compatriots through this kind of
justice.
Exactly. So I think government needs to do more in terms of, even if it insists in doing palliatives, then crowd management, as we said, should be upscaled.
I believe that, these things happening continuously, it's because of how hungry Nigerians have become.
Exactly.
Now, even the people that were considered middle class have to go and join the queue. So the number has increased. On a normal day, or say about 2 years ago, even a year ago, there are lots of people that would pass that palliative queue being given. But then now people have to go and to sustain their families on all of that. But this is the most annoying thing. Even with everybody pushing for the palliative, the government is not really doing a lot to address, this food crisis happening in the country. What do you think should be done in order for all this stampeding thing when it comes to palliative sharing to stop?
Well, government must reduce the cost of governance, because that will create resources to develop the country. And issues of corruption also must be addressed. But the Mr. President also must always remember that this is his own government, and that at the end of the day, it is him and nobody else whose name will be mentioned. So those that are corrupt, that wear the toga of corruption, and who he has given key appointments in his government and in his political party, the APC, honestly should be shown the way out as quickly as possible. Because these are the realities that will get us to what I can call the promised land. Unless those issues are addressed, at least some sense of hope is returned to Nigerians, this kind of issues will continue, and unfortunately will continue to project the country in bad light.
It's really sad. I mean, talking about a cost of governance, we've seen him reduce the governance, and then we saw him bring in about 50 people on a committee again, and then we saw him fighting corruption, and he's saying corruption is fighting back. The hope it keeps it thinning.
I think the Tinubu administration is very good at giving mixed signals.
Indeed.
In one breath, you're like confident they're going to get it done, and then the next minute
it causes confusion.
The next minute you're not so sure about what to expect.
It's really sad. We just hope, we work.
You hoping for Salah tomorrow or Wednesday?
Well,
I'm sure he's tired of I'm sure
the people in Sokoto. Let me talk about the people of Sokoto, where I just came from, because the heat there is horrible.
Right.
They are hoping for Salah tomorrow, honestly.
Right. I hope it doesn't influence their vision or impair their vision to see the moon when it's not there.
Whenever it's not. But thank you so much. Due to time, of course, we have to wrap up the show here. Thank you so much for joining us, Suleiman Obagaya, and giving us your thoughts.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
With that, of course, we have come to the end of a daybreak this Monday morning. Please do stick around at the top of the hour. 360 Sport would be here by Emmanuel Fashemi. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Do have a lovely day.
Thank you, Muskali, for joining us as always. We'll see you next time. Good morning.